Thank you very much, Chrissy. It's a pleasure to be here. There's no doubt that lithium markets have been volatile and prices in 2024 are substantially lower than they were last year. But importantly, we're seeing the commodity price stabilise. We know that medium term, the demand outlook for lithium is absolutely robust and of course underpinned by the transition to electric vehicles. It's for this reason I'm very proud to be part of Lithium Plus Minerals. I believe we have some of the best ground, we have a great team, and importantly we're funded to deliver on our program. So Lithium Plus is all about high-impact lithium exploration. We're focused on delivering multiple resource discoveries in the prolific Bino lithium field, and we surround Core Lithium's Finniss operating mine. On this map, you can see Lithium Plus tenements in red, and you can see Core Lithium's granted mining licence and exploration licences here in purple. Today, I'm going to talk about two discoveries. Firstly, I'll talk about our discovery at Lay. We've declared a maiden high-grade resource, 4.1 million tonnes at 1.43% lithium. Secondly, we've got an area just to the north, a couple of kilometres away, where we've identified numerous mineralised pegmatites that outcrop at surface. So we're very excited to get into those in this current field season. So really there's 5 things I'd like you to remember about Lithium Plus. And firstly, location is key. We are less than 45 kilometres from the Port of Darwin. That's a really, really important point. It means this asset is very close to infrastructure, and we know infrastructure is critical to deliver low-cost mining operations. The second point is that we have phenomenal geological prospectivity. We're in a high-grade field, there's multiple pegmatites, many of which are mineralised, and we can see them physically as we walk the property. Thirdly, we're well funded. Everything I'm going to tell you today is funded from current cash reserves. That means we're going to be active, that means we're going to deliver news flow. Fourth point is that we've got a board and management team with track records of success. From a technical perspective, led by Dr. Bin Guo and Dr. Bryce Healy, two of what I believe are the best lithium geologists globally. For my part, my background's commercial. I'm a former banker with Macquarie Bank, and I've just built, over 10 years, a $1 billion renewable energy business, which we've just sold to a major power utility. So I believe I've got the experience in terms of delivering financing for projects and getting them into production. Finally, obviously, we're providing exposure to this transition to electrification. This is a long-term trend, and it's going to drive a lot of value to anyone exposed to lithium and copper for that matter as well, in my view. So in terms of our corporate structure, the point to take away here is that it's very tight. The founders, directors and management team have between them 43% of the shares in issue. That means we've got a very strong alignment of interest with every single shareholder. We've also got a Tier 1 shareholder in the form of CATL. They hold 9% of our company. They've invested every time we've raised money, whether that be IPO or our placements. CATL, for those that don't know them, are the world's largest battery manufacturer. They provide 30% of the world's lithium batteries, and they've chosen to partner with us. I believe they understand the prospectivity of our tenements and the ability of our team to deliver meaningful volumes to their base in China. In addition to that, we were delighted to welcome what I believe to be one of Australia's leading underground miners, Bill Behemoth, who's famous in many places around this country for being the gentleman that founded and led Northern Star from $0 to $14 billion. He exited that position to found what is today one of the leading underground contractors. And we're looking forward to working collaboratively with him and Develop to collaborate on our projects here at Lithium Plus. So we've got very strong shareholders, we're heavily aligned, we're heavily invested, and we've got strong belief in the medium-term outlook for this business. Importantly, the business is funded. $7 million of cash, so everything I'm saying to you today is funded from current cash reserves. We've got a very modest market capitalisation, so that means that any news flow, any uptick in the commodity price is likely to lead to a dramatic price improvement in our market capitalisation. So I want to talk about our first discovery. This is really, really exciting for us. What we've announced over the course of last year was some phenomenally thick and high-grade drill intercepts. And just throwing some numbers out, 81 metres at 1.6% lithium. That's really, really thick and really high grade. That wasn't a fluke. We've followed it up with many, many other good results. For example, 50 metres at 1.8. These are phenomenal results. And what that means is that when you've got a deposit like this with thick intercepts and very high grade, you don't need a lot of tonnes to generate a lot of cash flow. And ultimately, we're in the business of building wealth and cash flow, and this deposit has the key ingredients we need to do that. So what have we done? We've recently published our maiden JORC resource, mineral resource estimate. It's 4.1 million tonnes at 1.4% lithium. Importantly, since we published that maiden JORC resource, we've done additional drilling and we've made additional discoveries very close by. So for example, we had some very, very high-grade thick intercepts which were delivered just after we published this resource, and we also discovered a separate parallel lens 160 metres to the east. So I firmly believe that this resource has the strong potential not just to grow in tonnes, but hopefully maintain the grade or maybe improve the grade. So certainly very, very exciting for this deposit in terms of delivering additional value, additional tonnes in subsequent resource upgrades. So I guess in summary, in our view at least, this deposit has all the key elements to be a very profitable mine. Obviously it's high grade, it's very close to the Port of Darwin, and we believe it could be developed quickly and could make good profits at current pricing. That's important. We believe current pricing, this operation would be profitable. So for this reason, we've already commenced our preliminary economic assessment of this deposit, and it's with a strategy, for the first part at least, to ship direct shipping ore, which is effectively unprocessed rock from the site, 50 km to the port and on a ship to China. This has a couple of key advantages. Firstly, an operation like that would be very low cost, just to ship raw rock to China. Secondly, the permitting process and the environmental impact is very, very straightforward. There'd be minimal surface disturbance, no tailings dams, and minimal surface infrastructure. So that leads to a simple approach in terms of permitting and mine construction. We're well advanced in the environmental studies. In fact, we're getting very close in terms of lodging those studies with the environmental regulator for assessment and approval. We've already got some good metallurgical results back from our partner in China. CATL, of course, not just produce batteries, but they concentrate lithium from around the world, and they've confirmed our material is suitable for their plant and is likely to have very high recoveries. So these are the key elements which has given us confidence to commence mine design, mine planning and scheduling. So people ask, well, why would you do that? The price is nowhere near as attractive today as it was last year. Well, I've got two key points to answer that. Firstly, we can make money at today's pricing. Secondly, we know the commodity price moves up and down quickly, so it makes sense to have a project fully permitted, ready to go, so that the first signs of an improving commodity price, we can push the button, start production and generate outsized cash flows for our shareholders. The second area I want to talk about is about 3 kilometres to the north. This area we call King's Landing, and we've identified here numerous pegmatites coming to surface. So just to give you a sense of the size of these, they're truly quite significant. So for example, a prospect we call Jewelers has more than 500 metres in terms of surface expression. Another one, Perseverance, 100 metres at surface. Jenny's a further 250 metres long at surface. So these are, I guess, large priority targets, outcropping at surface that we're going to start drilling this calendar year. We know at least some of these are mineralised. So, for example, Perseverance, we drilled that last year. We put one hole into that, and that delivered 19 metres at almost 1.6% lithium. So, with a bit of luck, we can replicate those results during the course of this year, and my hope would be to identify a second and maybe a third deposit within this portfolio in the coming field season. This map just drills into some of the work we've done to identify those targets. It's been systematic, it's been comprehensive. We've done soil sampling, we've analysed the results, we've cross-referenced that information with what we see on the ground, and that has identified literally dozens of exciting prospects to follow up on. We won't get to all of those this year, but it means, or it confirms at least, that we have the potential for multiple discoveries and deposits within this portfolio over time. Finally, the last thing I'll talk about in terms of our projects is to the south. It's near Alice Springs. And what we have here is a portfolio of tenements with historical high-grade results for both uranium and rare earths. These are just rock chip samples, so there's further work to be done on this, but some of those results are truly high grade. So, for example, 0.9 or 1% uranium and up to 4% for various rare earth elements. So these are really good grades, and it encourages us to explore the potential for uranium and rare earths near Alice Springs. So that's a sort of a third string to our bow, which will progress during the course of this calendar year. So to bring this together, what does it mean in terms of our forward work plan for 2024? Firstly, importantly, it's funded. Everything I've told you is funded. We don't need to raise capital to do this. Clearly, the focus is on ley. This is where we've got the maiden JORC resource. We're going to advance that project in terms of mine planning, permitting and approvals. I'm very keen to commence offtake discussions. We'll start with one of our major shareholders in China, CATL. They're keen, they're hungry for lithium. We'll discuss with them the potential for offtake, and I'd like to include some low-cost financing so that we can explore non-dilutive ways to get this asset into production. That's my background in terms of financing, and I'm determined to deliver it for this project. Secondly, we're going to remain focused on King's Landing. This is where we have the potential for second, maybe a third discovery of outcropping pegmatites. We're going to test them. We're going to hopefully define something interesting to follow up in the period forward. And finally, Arunta, there's some very interesting uranium and rare earths to follow up on, and we'll explore that aggressively during the course of this year. So I guess in summary, there's 5 key points I'd like to leave you with in terms of Lithium Plus. Firstly, location is key. Being less than 50 kilometres to a port is absolutely fundamental. It means we've got infrastructure. It means we've got the potential for very low-cost mine development. Secondly, we've got fantastic geological prospectivity. These are high-grade deposits. We believe we've got the potential for a number of them, and it could make for a very exciting portfolio. Thirdly, the business is funded, which means we're going to have news flow, which means that as the market continues to improve, the business is in a good position to benefit from that. Fourthly, the board has a track record of delivering value, importantly led by some very strong technical team, Dr. Bing Guo, Dr. Bryce Healy. Myself on the financial side, I believe in combination have the potential to move this project forward. Our relationship with the biggest battery manufacturer should not be understated. It's important in terms of funding, we believe. And of course, this business provides leverage to this transition to renewable energy, decarbonisation. It's unstoppable, it's happening, and we provide good exposure to that thematic. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Simon. Right, we're working with Graham Sloan, MD. Would you like to come and join us, sir? Now, you wouldn't have met Graham in this capacity before because Kali Metals, who's next on your program, are only listed in January. And they've certainly quick off the mark. Their first drill program happened 3 months later, so I'd be guessing, Graham Sloan, you're going to tell us what the latest information is from said drilling program, correct?
Looking forward to it.
Would you welcome him, please, everyone? Graham Sloan, MD of Kali Metals.